20 black actors who are gay you never knew. What if I told you that some of the biggest names in black entertainment hid their truth for years, terrified that one whisper could end everything? Billy Porter was told he was too gay to be cast. Jerrod Carmichael wept on an HBO stage as he came out, knowing his own mother might never speak to him again. Lil Nas X dropped a single tweet during Pride Month and rewrote hip-hop history. From Broadway legends to drag superstars, from Emmy winners to chart-topping rappers, these 20 black artists chose authenticity over silence and changed culture forever. Welcome to Black Celebrity Secrets. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let's count them down. Number 1 will leave you speechless. RuPaul Charles. Born RuPaul Andre Charles on November 17, 1960, in San Diego, California, RuPaul became the most influential drag performer in human history, and a fearless trailblazer who never had to come out, because he was never closeted. Raised by his mother and 3 sisters after his parents divorced when he was 7, RuPaul moved to Atlanta at age 15 and immersed himself in the underground club scene, eventually making his way to New York City in the 1980s. There, he became a fixture of downtown nightlife, alongside artists like Lady Bunny and the Pyramid Club crowd. In 1993, RuPaul shattered every conventional barrier with his hit single, Supermodel, You Better Work, reaching the Billboard Hot 100 and turning him into the first openly gay drag queen to land a major record deal with Tommy Boy Records. He became the face of MAC Cosmetics' Viva Glam campaign that same year, raising millions for AIDS research. His talk show, The RuPaul Show, on VH1 from 1996 to 1998, made him the first openly gay person to host a national daily talk show in America. Then came RuPaul's Drag Race in 2009, the cultural earthquake that transformed drag from underground subculture into global phenomenon. Over 17 seasons and counting, the franchise has won 29 Primetime Emmy Awards, with RuPaul personally winning Outstanding Host in a reality or competition program a record-breaking 8 times. He was inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 2024. RuPaul married Australian rancher George LeBar in January 2017 after more than 20 years together. They split their time between Wyoming and Los Angeles. At 65, RuPaul has earned an estimated $90 million fortune and continues using his platform to elevate queer artists worldwide. His mantra, "If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?" has become scripture for an entire generation of LGBTQ+ youth. Billy Porter. Born William Ellis Porter II on September 21, 1969, in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Billy was raised by a single mother in a deeply religious Pentecostal household. He came out as gay at age 16, after years of being bullied in church and school for being too feminine, a label that would haunt him for decades in casting rooms across Hollywood and Broadway. Despite graduating from Carnegie Mellon University's prestigious drama program, Billy spent the 1990s and 2000s being told he was too gay or too flamboyant to be cast in mainstream productions. His career-defining breakthrough finally arrived in 2013 when he originated the role of Lola, a fierce drag queen, in the Broadway musical Kinky Boots. The performance won him the Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical, a Drama Desk Award, and a Grammy for the cast album. 5 years later, FX cast him as Pray Tell in Pose, the groundbreaking drama exploring 1980s New York ballroom culture. The role finally let Billy fuse his entire authentic self with his craft. In September 2019, Billy made history by becoming the first openly gay black man to win the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. His acceptance speech, in which he quoted James Baldwin, brought audiences to tears. In 2020, he revealed he had been living with HIV since 2007, a 14-year secret he kept due to industry stigma. His tuxedo gown ensemble at the 2019 Oscars, designed by Christian Siriano, became one of the most iconic red carpet moments in fashion history. Billy married his longtime partner Adam Smith in 2017, though they announced their separation in 2023. Now 56, Billy has authored a best-selling memoir, Unprotected, continues touring as a recording artist, and remains one of the most uncompromising voices fighting for queer Black representation in every space he enters. Wanda Sykes. Born Wanda Yvette Sykes on March 7, 1964, in Portsmouth, Virginia, Wanda spent her early adulthood working at the National Security Agency as a contract specialist after graduating from Hampton University. She left her government career in 1992 to pursue stand-up comedy in New York City, where her sharp political commentary and razor-edged wit quickly earned attention. By 1997, she was writing for The Chris Rock Show and won her first primetime Emmy in 1999 for her work on the show. Wanda was previously married to record producer Dave Hall from 1991 to 1998. For years afterward, she kept her romantic life entirely private, knowing the dual barriers facing a Black woman in comedy. Then, on November 15, 2008, at a rally protesting California's Proposition 8 in Las Vegas, Wanda did something that stunned Hollywood. She publicly came out as a lesbian. She had quietly married French-born Alex Needbalski just 3 weeks earlier, on October 25, 2008. The couple welcomed twins Olivia and Lucas via surrogate in April 2009. Her brave coming-out moment came at significant professional risk, but it only accelerated her career. She continued starring in Curb Your Enthusiasm, hosted The Wanda Sykes Show on Fox in 2009, the first late-night show hosted by an openly gay person of color, and developed the hit Netflix series The Upshaws, which she also produces. In 2022, she co-hosted the 94th Academy Awards alongside Amy Schumer and Regina Hall, making her one of the first openly LGBTQ+ Oscar hosts in history. Wanda survived breast cancer in 2011 after undergoing a bilateral mastectomy, openly discussing her experience to encourage other women to get screened. At 62, she continues touring with Netflix specials, advocating fearlessly for LGBTQ+ rights, gun reform, and racial justice, proving that authenticity and activism amplify rather than diminish a comedian's power. Lee Daniels. Born Lee Lewis Daniels on December 24, 1959, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lee grew up in a violently homophobic household where his police officer father physically beat him for showing what the family deemed feminine behavior. Lee has openly recalled his father once dressing him in a dress and parading him through their neighborhood as humiliation. That trauma never fully left him, but it became the fuel that drove one of the most distinctive directorial voices in modern American cinema. Daniels began his career managing nurses before transitioning into casting and producing. He produced Monsters Ball in 2001, the film that won Halle Berry her historic Oscar, becoming the first Black man to produce a Best Actress winner. He then directed Precious in 2009, earning 2 Academy Awards, including Best Supporting Actress for Monique and a Best Picture nomination. His subsequent feature, The Butler, 2013, grossed $176 million globally and starred Forest Whitaker and Oprah Winfrey. In 2015, Lee co-created Empire on Fox, the runaway hip-hop drama starring Terrence Howard and Taraji P. Henson, which became the highest-rated new drama in over a decade, with peak audiences exceeding 17 million viewers. Lee deliberately wove queer black storylines through Empire via Jamal Lyons' character, drawing directly from his own painful coming-of-age experiences and refusing to soften the homophobia his characters faced. Lee has been openly gay throughout his Hollywood career and has spoken extensively about being raised in a community where being gay was treated as the worst possible offense. He has 2 adopted children, Liam and Clara, whom he raised as a single father. In 2024, his horror film The Deliverance was released on Netflix. At 66, Daniels continues developing projects centered on Black LGBTQ+ experiences and remains one of Hollywood's most candid voices about the intersection of race, religion, masculinity, and queerness, turning every personal scar into a story the world refuses to forget. Karamo Brown. Born Karamo Brown on November 2, 1980, in Houston, Texas, to Jamaican and Cuban parents, Karamo came out as gay to his family at the remarkably young age of 15. A courageous act in the early 1990s when LGBTQ+ acceptance was rare in black families anchored in church traditions. He attended Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University and worked as a social worker after graduation, providing counseling to troubled youth and their families across Texas and California. Karamo entered television history in 2004 when he joined the cast of MTV's The Real World Philadelphia, becoming the first openly gay black man on a reality television show in American broadcasting. The exposure was both celebrated and brutal. He received hate mail and death threats, but he never retreated into silence. He continued working in social work and child welfare for nearly a decade before re-entering entertainment in 2015. His true cultural breakthrough arrived in 2018, when Netflix relaunched Queer Eye with the new Fab Five. As the show's culture expert, Karamo brought psychological depth and emotional vulnerability to every episode, frequently breaking down barriers around race, masculinity, faith, and family rejection. The reboot won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Structured Reality Program 4 consecutive years from 2018 to 2021. Through Karamo's segments, millions of viewers watched genuine therapeutic transformations unfold on screen. Karamo published his New York Times best-selling memoir, Karamo, My Story of Embracing Purpose, Healing, and Hope in 2019, followed by I Am Perfectly Designed, 2019, and Karamo, 100-plus conversation starters for couples, 2024. He also became the daytime host of his own syndicated talk show, Karamo, in 2022. He shares 2 sons, Jason and Chris, the latter of whom he adopted as Chris's biological father after a previous girlfriend revealed his existence years later. At 45, Karamo continues bridging the gap between social work and entertainment, advocating fiercely for queer youth of color across every platform he commands. Colman Domingo. Born Colman Domingo on November 28, 1969, in West Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, this Afro-Latinx actor of Guatemalan and Belizean descent spent over 3 decades honing his craft on regional theater stages before Hollywood finally took notice. The youngest of 4 children raised by a single mother who worked in factories, Colman attended Temple University and began his acting career in San Francisco's experimental theater scene during the 1990s. His breakout came on Broadway in 2008 with the original cast of Passing Strange, earning him a Drama Desk Award. He followed it with The Scottsboro Boys in 2010, receiving Tony, Drama Desk, and Olivier Award nominations for his electrifying dual roles. On screen, he became a fixture in Steve McQueen's 12 Years a Slave, 2013, Lincoln, 2012, and 7 seasons of AMC's Fear the Walking Dead as Victor Strand. He also delivered devastating supporting work in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, If Beale Street Could Talk, and Euphoria, where his role as Ali earned him the 2022 Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series. Then came 2023, the year that crowned him a leading man. In Netflix's Rustin, Colman portrayed civil rights organizer Bayard Rustin, the openly gay black architect of the 1963 March on Washington. The performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, making him only the second openly gay man ever nominated for Best Actor, after Sir Ian McKellen. That same year, he co-starred as Mr. in Warner Brothers' The Color Purple musical adaptation. In 2024, he led Sing Sing, earning his second consecutive Oscar nomination conversation. Colman married his partner RuPaul Domingo in 2014 after meeting through Craigslist personal ads, a story he tells with characteristic warmth. RuPaul took Colman's surname. At 56, Colman represents the rare blossoming of a fully-out black gay leading man in serious cinema, proving that authenticity and prestige are no longer mutually exclusive in 21st century Hollywood. Tituss Burgess. Born Tituss Burgess on February 21, 1979 in Athens, Georgia, Tituss grew up in the Black Baptist Church, singing in the choir before discovering Broadway and never looking back. He earned his bachelor's degree in music from the University of Georgia and moved to New York City in the early 2000s, immediately landing roles in Broadway productions of Jersey Boys, The Little Mermaid, as Sebastian the Crab, and Guys and Dolls. His powerful tenor and four-octave vocal range made him an instant favorite among Broadway insiders, though mainstream fame remained elusive for years. Everything changed in 2015 when Tina Fey and Robert Carlock cast him as Titus Andromedon in Netflix's Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. As Kimmy's flamboyant, perpetually unemployed roommate dreaming of Broadway stardom, Tituss delivered some of the most quotable comedy of the streaming era. His viral musical numbers, particularly Pinot Noir, an absurd opera ode to black male anatomy, became cultural phenomena. He earned 4 consecutive Primetime Emmy nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series from 2015 to 2018, plus a SAG Award and Critics' Choice nomination. Tituss has been openly gay throughout his entire career, never concealing his identity to chase commercial roles. In 2019, he released his debut self-titled studio album and continued performing concerts featuring jazz, gospel, and Broadway standards. His viral 2017 cover of Beyoncé's Hold Up, performed in flowing yellow lemonade-inspired attire, accumulated tens of millions of YouTube views. Beyond entertainment, Tituss launched a hair care line called Live in HD in 2020 and continues advocating for queer black artists who have historically been pushed into either invisibility or stereotype. He is also a vocal advocate for body positivity, regularly addressing the unique pressures faced by openly gay black men in entertainment. At 46, Tituss represents a rare archetype, the unabashedly fabulous black gay performer who refuses to apologize for taking up vibrant, theatrical, joyfully camp space, and who has somehow turned that exact unwillingness into an Emmy-nominated career. Raven-Symoné. Born Raven-Symoné, Christina Spearman on December 10, 1985 in Atlanta, Georgia, Raven became one of America's most beloved child stars before she could even spell her own name. At 3 years old, she was cast as Olivia Kendall on The Cosby Show from 1989 to 1992, charming millions of viewers with her quick wit and natural comedic timing. She followed it with film roles in Dr. Dolittle, 1998, and Dr. Dolittle 2, 2001, opposite Eddie Murphy, before launching the Disney Channel phenomenon That's So Raven from 2003 to 2007. That's So Raven became a cultural touchstone for an entire generation of millennials. The series, in which Raven played a teenager with psychic visions, was the first Disney Channel series to surpass 100 episodes and was reported to attract more than 100 million viewers globally during its peak years. Raven also released several albums, with her 2004 single Backflip going gold. For years, Raven kept her personal life intensely private. In August 2013, after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act, she tweeted, "I was excited to hear today that more states legalized gay marriage. I, however, am not currently getting married, but it is great to know I can now should I wish to." 2 years later, on The View in 2015, she elaborated openly about her sexuality, though she preferred not to be labeled. In June 2020, Raven married her partner Miranda Madej in a private ceremony at home, surprising fans with the announcement. The couple launched the popular podcast, The Best Podcast Ever, in 2022, where they candidly share their relationship dynamics, blending humor with vulnerability about marriage as a queer interracial couple. She returned triumphantly to Disney Plus for Raven's Home, 2017 to 2023, reuniting with the role that defined her childhood. At 40, Raven has authored cookbooks, voiced animated characters, and continues creating content that defies industry expectations of how a former child star should age. Frank Ocean. Born Christopher Edwin Breaux on October 28, 1987 in Long Beach, California, Frank was raised in New Orleans, Louisiana by a single mother after his father abandoned the family when Frank was 6. His childhood was shaped by Hurricane Katrina, which destroyed his home studio in 2005 and forced him to relocate to Los Angeles with just $1,000 to his name. There, he ghost-wrote songs for Justin Bieber, John Legend, and Brandy while developing his own sound, eventually joining the controversial hip-hop collective Odd Future alongside Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt. In 2011, Frank released his independent mixtape, Nostalgia Ultra, which earned cult acclaim and led to writing credits on Jay-Z and Kanye West's collaborative album, Watch the Throne. But it was his next move that rewrote music history. On July 4, 2012, just 1 week before the release of his major label debut, Channel Orange, Frank published a deeply personal Tumblr letter revealing that his first love was a man he'd met at age 19. The post made him one of the first major hip-hop and R&B artists to come out, in a genre then notorious for homophobia. Channel Orange debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and won the Grammy Award for Best Urban Contemporary Album in 2013. His follow-up Blonde, self-released in August 2016, debuted at number 1 and was named one of the greatest albums of the decade by Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, and The Guardian. Frank deliberately released Blonde independently to escape his Def Jam contract, becoming a model for artistic independence in the streaming era. Frank has remained reclusive ever since, performing rarely and granting almost no interviews. He launched his luxury jewelry brand Homer in 2021 and operates the Blonded Radio podcast on Apple Music. At 38, Frank has profoundly influenced an entire generation of artists, from Tyler, the Creator, to Lil Nas X, who credit his bravery as the moment hip-hop began making meaningful space for queer black voices. Lil Nas X. Born Montero Lamar Hill on April 9, 1999, in Lithia Springs, Georgia, Montero spent his early years bouncing between his mother's chaotic household and his father's stricter home in Austell. He turned to the internet for refuge, building Twitter and meme accounts that taught him the algorithmic instincts that would later make him one of the savviest artists in modern pop history. After dropping out of the University of West Georgia, he began making music under the name Lil Nas X, a combination he chose almost arbitrarily. In December 2018, he released Old Town Road through SoundCloud for $30 in production costs. The viral country trap track exploded on TikTok in early 2019, eventually shattering records by spending 19 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. the longest run in chart history. The Grammy-winning remix featuring Billy Ray Cyrus made him a household name overnight. Then, on June 30th, 2019, the final day of Pride Month, Lil Nas X tweeted, "Some of y'all already know, some of y'all don't care, some of y'all not gone FWM no more. But before this month ends, I want y'all to listen closely to C7O Sure," accompanied by a rainbow emoji. With that single post, the 20-year-old became the first openly gay black male artist to top the Billboard Hot 100, and one of the first openly gay artists to come out at the absolute peak of his commercial moment. His 2021 single, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, featuring an unforgettable music video where he gave Satan a lap dance, sparked global controversy and conversation while debuting at #1. His debut album, Montero, earned 5 Grammy nominations. In 2024, Lil Nas X starred in his HBO documentary Long Live Montero. At 27, he continues producing chart toppers, sells out arenas worldwide, and remains one of the most fearlessly authentic provocateurs of the streaming era, proving that being openly black and gay can sit comfortably at the very top of the pop pyramid. Lena Waithe. Born Lena Joy Waithe on May 17, 1984 in Chicago, Illinois, Lena grew up on the South Side, surrounded by the storytelling traditions of her grandmother's Sunday dinners and black sitcoms. She knew from age 7 that she wanted to be a writer after seeing A Different World on television. After graduating from Columbia College, Chicago in film, she moved to Los Angeles and worked as an assistant for Mara Brock Akil and other black creators, learning the industry from the ground up. Her breakthrough came on Netflix's Master of None, where she played Denise, Aziz Ansari's lesbian best friend. The 2017 episode Thanksgiving, which she co-wrote with Ansari, depicted Denise coming out to her family across multiple Thanksgivings throughout her life. That single episode won Lena the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series, making her the first black woman ever to win in that category. Her acceptance speech, dedicated to all the queer people of color out there, went immediately viral. She then created The Chi, the Showtime drama set on Chicago's South Side that premiered in 2018 and has run for 7 seasons through 2024. She also created 20s on BET 2020 and the BET Plus series Boomerang. Her production company Hillman Grad has become a powerhouse for black creative voices, signing first-look deals with Amazon and Showtime. Lena married producer Alana Mayo in November 2019 in a private courthouse ceremony, though they announced their separation just months later. She has spoken extensively about the challenges of being openly queer in the black community, particularly in entertainment industries historically resistant to queer black women's stories. In 2018, Time magazine named Lena one of the 100 most influential people in the world. At 41, she continues building Hillman Grad as a hub for marginalized creators, mentoring young writers, and refusing to compromise her vision of authentically black queer storytelling, even when networks insist softer, less specific stories would sell better. Jerrod Carmichael. Born Jerrod Carmichael on April 22, 1987, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Jerrod grew up in a strict Christian household with parents Joe and Cynthia, the latter of whom would later become central to his most courageous artistic moments. He moved to Los Angeles at 20 with no industry connections, landing his first stand-up sets at the Comedy Store before gradually building credibility through HBO specials. Spike Lee directed his 2014 HBO special Love at the Store, and his subsequent specials 8, 2017, and Home Videos, 2019, earned him cult comedic acclaim. He created and starred in NBC's The Carmichael Show from 2015 to 2017, a multi-generational sitcom that tackled abortion, Black Lives Matter, and gun control with extraordinary frankness. The series earned a Peabody Award for its honest engagement with American social issues. But Jerrod's most historically significant moment came on April 1st, 2022, when his HBO special Rothaniel premiered. Filmed in front of a small, intimate audience at New York's Blue Note Jazz Club and directed by Bo Burnham, the special opened with Jerrod calmly revealing his birth name, Rothaniel, and ended with him coming out as gay. The vulnerability was raw and unprecedented. Jerrod openly wept on stage, discussing his mother's painful religious refusal to accept his sexuality. Rothaniel won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Variety Special in 2022. He hosted the 80th Golden Globe Awards in January 2023, becoming one of the first openly gay black hosts in the ceremony's 80-year history. His 2024 HBO docuseries, Jerrod Carmichael Reality Show, controversially explored his romantic life, including his relationship with comedian Tyler, the Creator. Jerrod's mother, Cynthia, has continued struggling to fully accept his sexuality, a heartbreak he has documented openly across multiple specials. At 38, Jerrod represents the painful, ongoing reality that for many black queer artists, professional acclaim cannot heal the family wounds religious upbringing inflicts, and choosing to live truthfully despite that loss is the most radical art of all. Daryl Stephens. Born Daryl A. Stephens on May 4, 1974, in Pasadena, California, Daryl studied dramatic arts at the University of California, Berkeley, before pursuing acting full-time in Los Angeles. His early career was characterized by the painful Hollywood reality openly gay black actors faced in the early 2000s, being passed over for romantic leads and frequently typecast in stereotypical or peripheral gay roles. He has spoken candidly in interviews about losing roles specifically because of his sexual orientation. Then in 2005, Patrick Ian Polk cast Daryl in the lead role of Noah Nicholson in Noah's Ark on Logo TV, and television history was made. The series became the first major American show centered entirely on the romantic, professional, and personal lives of 4 black gay friends in Los Angeles. The show ran for 2 seasons until 2006 and was revived for the 2008 feature film Noah's Ark, Jumping the Broom, and the 2020 reunion special Noah's Ark, The Rona Chronicles, followed by a full series revival on Paramount Plus in 2024. Daryl has appeared in numerous independent films exploring queer black identity, including Boy Culture, 2006, another gay sequel, Gays Gone Wild, 2008, and DTLA. He also wrote and published Required Reading, How to Have a Good Life, in 2011, which combined memoir and life lessons drawn from his journey as a black gay man in Hollywood. Throughout his career, Daryl has refused to remain silent about industry discrimination. His 2014 essay collection, Rotten Tomatoes and Other Adventures in Hollywood, documents the structural racism and homophobia gay actors of color face when seeking serious dramatic roles. He has consistently advocated for greater representation behind and in front of the camera, mentoring younger LGBTQ+ actors of color through workshops and panels. At 51, Daryl continues acting, writing, and producing independent projects centered on black queer experiences. He represents an essential bridge generation, the actors who paved the way for today's openly gay black leading men by absorbing rejection, building community, and refusing to disappear when the doors slammed shut. Doug Spearman. Born Douglas Spearman on April 27, 1963, in Washington, D.C., Doug grew up in a politically aware household and graduated from American University with a degree in political science before transitioning into acting. His early career consisted primarily of guest appearances on television series like Star Trek: The Next Generation, The Jamie Foxx Show, and Girlfriends throughout the 1990s and early 2000s. Solid work, but rarely substantial enough to elevate him above journeyman status. His career-defining role arrived when Patrickion Polk cast him as Chance Counter, Noah's wealthy conservative best friend wrestling with internal homophobia and class anxieties, in Noah's Ark, beginning in 2005. Doug's portrayal of Chance gave the show some of its most emotionally complex storylines, particularly Chance's evolution from closeted academic to fully self-accepting husband and father. The character became a touchstone for black gay men of his generation who saw their own internal conflicts reflected on screen for the first time. Beyond acting, Doug pivoted toward filmmaking. He wrote, directed, and produced the independent feature Hot Guys with Guns in 2013, a black gay action comedy that received warm reception on the LGBTQ+ festival circuit. He followed it with the 2018 indie drama From Zero to I Love You, exploring family secrets and queer awakening in middle age. Both films deliberately centered black gay protagonists in genres traditionally dominated by white characters. Doug has been openly gay throughout his Hollywood career and has frequently used interviews and panels to challenge the industry's tendency to limit black queer narratives to trauma stories. He advocates for romantic comedies, science fiction, and action films featuring black gay leads, arguing that representation must include joy, adventure, and frivolity, not only suffering. He continues teaching directing and screenwriting workshops focused on emerging queer filmmakers of color. At 62, Doug remains a respected veteran whose reunion appearances in the 2024 Paramount Plus Noah's Ark revival reminded audiences how foundational his work has been. His career proves that consistent, principled visibility across decades can shape a community even without superstar fame. Rodney Chester. Born Rodney Chester on December 14, 1965, Rodney built his acting career through the Los Angeles theater scene throughout the 1990s, working steadily in regional productions and television guest spots before finding the role that would etch his name into queer black television history. He attended California State University, Los Angeles, and trained as a stage actor before transitioning to screen work. In 2005, Rodney was cast as Alex Kirby, the openly flamboyant, fiercely loyal, fashion-forward member of the friend group, in Noah's Ark on Logo TV. While Daryl Stephens carried the lead and Doug Spearman anchored the dramatic gravitas, Rodney's Alex became the emotional comic relief who refused to dim his queerness for anyone's comfort. The character's unapologetic flamboyance was revolutionary for 2005 television, especially in a black-led series, where mainstream sitcoms were still treating effeminate gay characters as punchlines rather than full humans. Rodney's portrayal of Alex earned him fierce loyalty from fans across the LGBTQ+ community. He reprised the role in the 2008 feature film Noah's Ark, Jumping the Broom. The 2020 pandemic-era specials Noah's Ark, The Rona Chronicles, and the full 2024 revival series on Paramount Plus. Each iteration showed Alex evolving, finding stability in long-term love, navigating career shifts, and maintaining his trademark fashion sense even as decades passed. Beyond Noah's Ark, Rodney has appeared in independent LGBTQ+ films including Dirty Laundry, 2006, and Finding Me, 2007. Continuing his commitment to projects that center black queer experiences. He has worked extensively in regional theater and supports community arts organizations focused on developing emerging queer artists of color. Rodney has been openly gay throughout his career and remains active in HIV/AIDS awareness advocacy through black-led nonprofits in Los Angeles. He frequently speaks at LGBTQ+ film festivals and college panels, sharing stories from the early days of explicitly black gay television programming. At 60, Rodney represents the unsung warriors of representation, the supporting cast members whose visibility and refusal to be reduced to stereotypes helped open doors for the generation that followed. His Alex Kirby remains a beloved icon of unapologetic black gay joy in television history. Jeremy Pope. Born Jeremy Pope on July 23, 1992, in Orlando, Florida, Jeremy was raised in a deeply religious household where his grandfather served as a Pentecostal pastor. He found refuge in performing arts, eventually attending the prestigious American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York City. His early off-Broadway work caught the attention of Broadway producers, leading to his historic 2019 Tony Awards moment. That year, Jeremy earned an unprecedented 2 Tony nominations in a single season: Best Actor in a Featured Role in a Play for Choir Boy, his Broadway debut, and Best Actor in a Featured Role in a Musical for Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. He became only the 6th performer in Tony history to receive nominations in both categories simultaneously, joining legends like Hugh Jackman and Audra McDonald. His television breakthrough came in Ryan Murphy's 2020 Netflix limited series, Hollywood, where he played Archie Colman, a black gay aspiring screenwriter battling racism, homophobia, and 1940s Tinseltown gatekeeping. The role earned him a Golden Globe nomination, a Critics' Choice nomination, and his first Primetime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series. In 2022, Jeremy starred in The Inspection, an A24 drama based on filmmaker Elegance Bratton's autobiographical experience as a homeless black gay man who joined the Marine Corps. Jeremy's transformation, physical, emotional, spiritual, earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor in a Drama and widespread Oscar buzz, though the nomination ultimately eluded him. Jeremy has been openly queer throughout his career, though he has resisted single labels, telling Variety that he prefers letting his work speak rather than adopting fixed identity terms. He has spoken movingly about reconciling his Christian upbringing with his queer adult life, particularly his evolving relationship with his grandfather. At 33, Jeremy represents the new vanguard of openly queer black leading men whose careers are not defined by their queerness, but enriched by it. With Broadway success, Emmy and Golden Globe credentials, and ongoing prestige film projects, his trajectory points toward an Oscar-winning future the industry could not have imagined for a black queer actor just one generation earlier. Nathan Lee Graham. Born Nathan Lee Graham on September 21, 1968, in St. Louis, Missouri, Nathan was raised in a working-class family that nurtured his early love for music and theater despite their limited resources. He earned a bachelor's degree in music and theater from Webster University before moving to New York City in the early 1990s to pursue Broadway. His powerful baritone voice and commanding stage presence made him a natural fit for musicals, and his refusal to hide his queerness made him a quiet trailblazer. Nathan's Broadway credits read like a museum tour of late 20th century American theater: The Wild Party, 2000, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, 2011, where he played Misunderstanding to acclaim, and Hands on a Hard Body, 2013. His off-Broadway work includes the original cast of The Wild Party at Manhattan Theater Club and numerous concerts at Joe's Pub and 54 Below. He has performed in regional productions across America, often choosing scripts that center queer narratives. In film and television, Nathan has appeared in Zoolander, 2001, as the iconic Todd, Sweet Home Alabama, 2002, Hitch, 2005, and the long-running NBC series LA to Vegas, 2018. His role as Todd in Zoolander, the runway producer screaming, "Who are you wearing?" became one of the most quoted moments in early 2000s comedy and elevated his profile beyond Broadway insiders. Nathan has been openly gay throughout his entire professional career and has consistently used interviews and educator panels to advocate for greater diversity in casting. He has taught masterclasses at Carnegie Mellon, NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, and dozens of regional conservatories, mentoring countless young LGBTQ+ actors of color through industry challenges he himself navigated decades earlier. He has been in a long-term relationship with his partner for years and frequently performs cabaret shows celebrating Black queer artistry and the AIDS-era Broadway community lost too soon. At 57, Nathan represents the irreplaceable bridge between Broadway's homophobic past and its evolving present, a working performer whose craft, dignity, and stubborn visibility have helped reshape what kinds of bodies and voices belong on Great White Way stages. Jaboukie Young-White. Born Jaboukie Young-White on October 9, 1994 in Harvey, Illinois, this comedian and writer of Jamaican descent grew up in a Catholic household before attending DePaul University in Chicago. He left without finishing his degree to pursue stand-up comedy in New York City, building his profile through viral Twitter humor, where his razor-sharp jokes about race, queerness, internet culture, and millennial dread accumulated hundreds of thousands of followers. In 2018, at just 23 years old, Jaboukie joined The Daily Show with Trevor Noah as a correspondent, becoming one of the youngest correspondents in the show's history and one of the first openly gay Black correspondents on a national late-night program. His segments, particularly his deadpan satirical pieces on conservative politics and cancel culture, became frequent viral moments. He stayed at The Daily Show until 2022. Beyond late-night comedy, Jaboukie has built a deliberately multidisciplinary career. He wrote for the third season of Big Mouth on Netflix and voiced the recurring character Devon. He had a viral 2020 stunt where he impersonated the FBI's official Twitter account to mock the agency, briefly getting his account suspended before becoming an internet folk hero. In 2021, he made his feature film acting debut in Rob Reiner's Mark, Mary, plus some other people. Most significantly, Jaboukie voiced Splat, a non-binary character in Disney's animated film Strange World, 2022. Disney's first feature film to center an openly gay teenage protagonist, Ethan Clade, voiced by Jaboukie. Although the film underperformed at the box office, it represented a watershed moment for openly queer leads in major animation studios. In 2024, Jaboukie released his debut studio album, All Who Can't Hear Must Feel, under the indie label Interscope, blending hyperpop, hip-hop, and electronic experimentation. He is openly gay and has discussed dating men in interviews without ever positioning his sexuality as the central feature of his work. At 31, Jaboukie represents the digital native generation of Black queer comedians whose careers were forged on Twitter, validated by mainstream media, and continually reinvented across formats, proving that authenticity online translates into real-world cultural power. Brandon Kyle Goodman. Born Brandon Kyle Goodman on July 19, 1987, in Queens, New York, Brandon was raised in a strict Black Catholic household where being gay was something to be hidden, ashamed of, or prayed away. The internal conflict between his loving family and his authentic self drove him into years of secrecy, depression, and shame, experiences he has since channeled into his most powerful creative work. After studying acting at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, Brandon began booking television and film roles throughout the 2000s. He appeared in HBO's High Maintenance, the indie hit Plus One, 2019, and Netflix's Modern Love, 2019. But his true creative breakthrough came when he was hired as a writer on Netflix's Big Mouth in 2018 and Human Resources in 2022. He voices the iconic Walter the Love Bug across both series, bringing his trademark mix of warmth, sass, and vulnerability to one of streaming animation's most beloved characters. In 2022, Brandon published his deeply personal memoir, You Gotta Be You: How to Embrace This Messy Life and Step Into Who You Really Are, which spent weeks on the LGBTQ+ memoir bestseller charts. The book documents his journey from internalized shame to radical self-love, particularly addressing the unique pressures Black queer men face navigating Black religious communities and predominantly white queer spaces simultaneously. Brandon hosts the popular podcast Messy Mondays with Brandon Kyle Goodman, which the New York Times described as one of the most candid podcasts addressing race, sexuality, and mental health. He uses the platform to interview cultural figures across queer Black communities and to model the vulnerability his memoir advocates. He identifies as gay and non-binary and uses he/they pronouns. He has been in a long-term relationship with his partner Matthew, frequently sharing both joyful and difficult moments of their life together on social media as a deliberate counter-narrative to the often tragic depictions of queer Black love that dominate media. At 38, Brandon represents a generation committed to publicly processing trauma, advocating for mental health, and refusing the cultural expectation that Black queer storytelling must be suffering. His work centers joy, healing, and unapologetic softness. Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman. Born Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman on January 22, 1984, in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, Jeffrey was adopted by a white Canadian family and raised in a predominantly white small town as the only mixed-race child for miles. The dual experience of being Black, queer, and adopted in such an environment shaped both his profound sense of being an outsider and his eventual career-long commitment to advocating for misfits, outliers, and marginalized voices. He began modeling internationally in his early 20s, working with major fashion houses across Europe and North America before transitioning into acting. He landed a recurring role on the Lifetime drama Unreal from 2015 to 2018, playing Jay Carter, a producer navigating racial and sexual identity politics inside a fictional Bachelor-style reality show. The role earned him critical attention and a Canadian Screen Award nomination. In 2020, Jeffrey was selected as a permanent judge on the inaugural season of Canada's Drag Race, the franchise extension of RuPaul's Drag Race adapted for Canadian audiences. He served as a judge for 3 seasons before departing in 2023. During his tenure, Jeffrey faced significant racist and homophobic harassment on social media, much of it directed at his physical appearance, judging style, and openly queer identity. He responded with characteristic directness, frequently confronting trolls publicly and using the experience to advocate for protections against online harassment of public figures of color. Beyond Drag Race, Jeffrey has appeared on Hot in Cleveland, Single Ladies, and the queer comedy series Surviving the Cartel. He has worked extensively as a host and presenter at Pride events and LGBTQ+ film festivals across North America. He hosts the podcast Brunch with Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman, where he interviews LGBTQ+ celebrities, athletes, and activists about authenticity, mental health, and navigating Hollywood as a queer person of color. Jeffrey has been openly gay throughout his career and married his husband, Tomas Skoludic, a Czech model, in 2019. The couple split their time between Toronto and Los Angeles. At 41, Jeffrey represents the modern generation of openly queer Black entertainers using every platform available: television, podcasts, social media, fashion, to model the unapologetic visibility that earlier generations fought to make possible. His refusal to soften any part of himself for industry comfort embodies the very transformation this list celebrates. There you have it. 20 extraordinary Black artists whose courage to live openly reshaped entertainment forever. Some came out at the height of fame. Others paid a brutal personal price for their honesty. A few are still navigating family rejection even after global success. But every single one of them refused to shrink themselves for anyone's comfort. Now, we want to hear from you. Whose coming out story moved you the most? Do you think Hollywood has truly opened its doors to Black queer artists? Or is there still a long road ahead? Are there names we missed that deserve to be celebrated? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Every voice matters here. If this video opened your heart, smash that like button, share it widely, and subscribe to Black Celebrity Secrets.